Yo, what's up? What's up, everyone? I'm getting the stream set up. I'm gonna do a quick recap show. It's been a minute, so it's been a little bit. Been working on some stuff, but you know we had to do a last minute weigh-in fight prediction of arguably the biggest heavyweight fight of the year, right? So, while you guys are coming in, please hit the poll real quick. If you guys want me to open up the line, I'll bring you guys in, let you guys come on here one by one, give you guys his prediction. But we are getting ready to get down tomorrow for the big heavyweight fight. So, what's up, Great Gambino, Hector Madano? What's up, UN? Alright, cool. Alright, I'm gonna go straight right into it, man. Alright, what up, everybody? It's Ron Goodall over at FightHype. And like I said, it's the day before the major heavyweight fight. It's not for Undisputed, but it might as well be, right? These are the two guys that fought for Undisputed. Politics came involved. So I'm gonna crown it. The best heavyweight is fighting tomorrow versus arguably maybe the number 2. Tyson Fury, right? Number 1 versus number 2. So I have to get into full-on discussions. Let me turn this music off real quick with you guys. What up, Great Gambino? Hector, not gonna like Tyson Fury looking kind of cute. I don't know what you want, Hector, man. My boy said, yow. UN says Fury's gonna lean on him the whole entire fight like Wilder. Jake, what up, Jake? Fury's gonna regret leaning on Usyk. I promise y'all, this would be a worse KO. All right, so I'm sure you guys saw the weigh-in today, the clothed weigh-in. We didn't really get to dissect what many people will go and say, hey, you know, this guy looks fat, this guy looks ripped. You know, we couldn't do the, you know, but I'm sure both guys came in as prepared. Fury seems locked in, no joking this week. He looks serious, right? And Usyk's always serious. He's a professional. The man's a beast, right? All-time great. So Hector says Fury. Great Gambino says 295 versus 222. It's like that. That's trash. How do you? It wasn't actually that weight. All right. I put a tweet out. Yeah, I'm starting to use my Twitter a little bit more. Just so I can put a mental note on the actual previous weight they had and the weight after. All right. So let me zoom in right here and I'll pull this up. All right. Bro, if you flap that hair one more time, I can't help it, man. I haven't had my hair done for a minute. I know I look like Fabio right now, right? I actually plan on getting my hair cut pretty soon. It's just or braids or some shit. I don't know what to do with this shit right now. But my bad. Fury's gonna win by knockout. I think Usyk's gonna win. All right, so today Usyk weighed 226 and Fury weighed 281. All right, from the previous fight, it was documented that Usyk weighed in 223.5. So Usyk went up just a couple more pounds, but not too much. However, Fury jumped up tremendously in weight. All right. Yeah, imagine unofficial weight. Yeah, it was a ceremonial, right? Fury's 300 pounds. I mean, 20 pounds, 19 pounds is still 19 pounds, right? But I get it. You might as well say 300 pounds. My name's Uno. Okay, I see it. My bad, Uno. Oleksandr Usyk versus Tyson Fury 3. Daryl Stormer. Okay, so he's coming in heavy on purpose, right? So we've seen this before, right? We've seen Fury gain weight, coming a little bit bigger. Essentially, I think someone said he's going to lean on him like Wilder. Usyk's going to be super fast and more in shape. You know, I thought the first fight, which is so crazy, is that I picked against Usyk 3 times, right? So please bear with me. If you guys want to make fun of me, that's fine. I have a track record of Usyk in big major fights. I'm 0-3, all right? I was in the Gassy of hype, right? Normally I always pick the boxer, but because Usyk had a very competitive fight with Briedis and Gassy destroyed Dorticos, like knocked him out, I thought that potentially Gassy might have won. All right, it was a cool 50-50-ish fight, right? So I was 0-1 right there. Then the next fight, the big fight, I would say, is when he fought Joshua. I picked Joshua because I thought Usyk didn't look great against Witherspoon, and Chisora was a very close fight. So I just went with the bigger guy. Wrong again, 0-2. Obviously, I went with Usyk in the rematch. Now Fury, big guy, skilled, crafty, right? And Fury had a lot of success early on in the early rounds. I thought Fury was pretty much having his way. He dominated. But something along the way in the middle switched. And Usyk was able to land a lot of left hands. Hurt Fury. Personally thought it could have potentially been stopped. And here I am 0-3 against Usyk, right? So do I... The Usyk-Joshua rematch, I felt was obvious that Usyk was going to win, right? So... But this, even though Usyk won the first one, I still feel like the rematch is still a 50-50 fight. So I think that if I pick against Usyk in this fight, I think it's fair to say I'm 0-4. I don't think I should get credit for picking Usyk in the Joshua rematch. Tyson's getting smoked. What up, chat? Peace and blessings to all. Much love, fan. What up, Legacy over Currency? What up, man? $2 super chat, man. What's up? Prada Pierce says Usyk by stoppage. Fury's at the end of the road. That's a respectful pick. And I'm so hesitant to pick against Usyk, but when you see a 55-pound difference, my God, bro, and the first fight was mad competitive, right? Usyk switched it on in the second half, and it was still kind of a close fight by all means when you look at the scorecards. I thought Usyk won the fight. And obviously, you could have scored that a 10-8 round by far when Usyk hurt him. So, when Fury hydrates tomorrow, well, I guess. They don't weigh in, right? They're heavyweights. So, they don't really, officially have to rehydrate. But, yeah, I get what you're saying. He's probably going to get bigger, over time. But Uno says Joshua needs to retire. Yeah, Joshua and Wilder need to fight one time. Just get that over with. Then they can retire. Usyk fights like a middleweight. Fury can't hit his body. That's true, but Fury had a lot of success early on, right? I thought Fury did really good. He was pretty much dominating the fight, but Usyk was like a man that was possessed. And by the second round, regardless of how much punishment Usyk took, right? Because he took a lot of punishment. I'm not going to sit here and say Usyk dog walked him. Usyk had to walk through the fire to get Fury, almost out of there, right? So I didn't think that was an easy win by far. And I think that, Fury's an intelligent guy. I think Fury is very locked in. You can tell he's extremely focused. It reminds me of when Fury was fighting Wilder the second time. I don't know what type of adjustments he made. He probably just gained a lot more weight and probably a little bit more locked in. But overall, I don't see this fight being easy for either one. What time's they're gonna rematch? It's gonna be in Saudi Arabia. So based on wherever location you're at, it's here, I'll get that information for you. Fury Usyk 2 time. What time's Usyk Fury 2? Yeah. Let me get that information up for you. Fury's gonna win 7th round. I really want to. My brain's leaning towards Fury. I know I'm 0-3 Usyk. And this is really one of those type of fights where when you really sit there and think about it, you want to say Usyk has Fury number. He beat him, practically almost stopped him. In this fight week, he seems like the face-off. He wasn't the one that broke. Fury seems emotionally invested, emotionally rattled. You can also say Fury looks more locked in, more serious. But I feel like Usyk has the confidence knowing that what he did in that first fight, Fury has to convince himself. So at the end of the day, it's I think the better the better pick is Usyk. But 55 pounds is 55 pounds. Prod another $2 super chat. My guy, man. 55-pound works when you can lean on a guy. That's it. That's fair. Fury is definitely going to have to catch Usyk. Usyk's footwork is great, just like his. And, ultimately, he's going to have to, quote, catch the rabbit. But Fury has that tremendously long reach. I think by tail of the tape, I think he has something about like 8 inches, when it came to the reach. So if he utilizes that better, and he had a lot of great success early on, I think it's potentially able for Fury to win this fight. Hey, $5 super chat, showing love as always, man. I know I've been gone, Bailey. I've been setting up some interviews and working some stuff out. So, but I had to come in and discuss with you guys. Gypsy King got this. You dasses gotta acknowledge that. Never underestimate Tyson Fury. Usyk by decision. Turkey Al-Sheep, make it happen. Yeah, Josh Wilder, they do need a fight, right? Beardgate, Tyson Fury beard. So he does have like a very scruffy beard going on. I don't know if they're gonna make him cut it or whatnot, but I don't know, dude. Like I just strangely feel like picking against Usyk again, man. As many times as I have been wrong against Usyk, and it has nothing. I have anything against Usyk. I think Usyk arguably is the pound for pound king in boxing right now, right? Depends if you want to put Crawford, if you want to put Inoue, like that's fair, right? That's a liking. But now he's fighting a guy that's 55 pounds bigger than him. He gets him out. It's going to be really hard to go against him when it comes to pound for pound rankings. But regardless where you place him, he has the skills to overcome any adversity. He's the road warrior king. He's been fighting on the road all the time. He's never really had the advantage. And even then, like if you guys saw the press conference, everybody was picking against Usyk. Eddie Hearn, Turkey Al-Sheik feels Fury's going to win the rematch. Like it really feels like everything's stacked against him when really his last fight should have sealed the deal. So like if all things are fair, yeah, I think Usyk by far, but everything's starting to feel like this is a tougher fight than the first fight for Usyk, in my opinion. $2 super chat. Prada says, Tyson made people believe he wasn't serious. He was, though. Oh, for sure. I think he was 100% serious. This was legacy, undisputed. He knew what he was had. I just think that, he really now knows that this is it. This is where, maybe back in his mind he knew he had a rematch clause and things like that. But this is where he knows, like, this is all it. No excuses. He didn't make excuses, but at the end of the day, whatever he felt that was his shortcoming, he needed to make the adjustment. He's not even, like, trying to entertain to sell the fight. Like, he's really serious, as in knowing that this is the end of it. But he was definitely serious about the fight, and he never took away any credit away from Usyk. So I give him credit for that. The better man won that night. So Tyson Fury's beard is illegal. Tony Bailey says, Fury looking dominant at a point in the fight, then Usyk adapted. Tough to go against Usyk because Usyk finds a way to win. Yeah, I really feel like I'm going against the obvious pick, right? But time and time again, I saw this really great tweet by Steven Breadman, and I did a long interview with him. If you guys haven't seen it yet, there's a whole bunch of Breadman interviews. But let's see. He put a really he put a really interesting tweet, right? And it's, typically the better boxer, right, wins the rematch, right? That's kind of the case, right? But Steven Breadman has a great IQ when it comes to stuff and historical value. Usyk's an all-time great, tier special, but history has shown the smaller man in these matchups have a tougher time in rematches because the will and the tenacity runs out. See Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard, Frazier versus Ali, even Spinks versus Holmes. I like Usyk, even though Spinks did get the win and Holmes, a lot of people felt Holmes was robbed out of that fight. I like Usyk if everything is fair, but this will be tough. Yeah, and when I mentioned fair, that's where I got that line of like if everything was fair. I was reading essentially Stephen Edwards' tweet. Do you guys agree with that? You know that the smaller man typically struggles in the rematch when it's one of those type of 50-50 kind of fights, or in this just case it's just not. Like Usyk is just superior by all means. A third fight would make millions more. It would make more money if it was like a money making situation. I don't know if this fight is a money making situation. Like I don't know how finances are made out. I don't know what the tickets are. Like I haven't really looked into it because it's in Saudi Arabia. Turkey just pretty much just throwing money in this. So I know that this is pay per view in the U.S. Possibly maybe in the U.K. I haven't did my research, but you would think third fight always makes more money. So I agree. Usyk's too skilled to fall for the bully tactics. I mean, he has to be aware that Fury's bigger, right? Especially now, and he probably has to think now like he's going to try to rough me up. The whole cutesy boxing stuff that Fury was doing and moving. He's going to be in a fight. Like essentially, I'm going to try to smash you. Is what Fury's mindset is. His energy, his demeanor, his talk patterns, and his weight even shows that he's not trying to come in there and dance with him. He's trying to come and essentially beat the shit out of Usyk. So Usyk's going to have to be completely on his game. I think his footwork's able to do it. I really think this is ultimately like a 50-50 fight, even though Usyk had a great dominant second round and essentially almost got Fury out. It's heavyweights, right? Everything can happen in the division, right? My track record in heavyweights is trash. So if I give you guys picks and analysis and breakdowns, don't listen to my heavyweights, right? I'm just kind of like just going off a feeling. Heavyweights is a feeling with me. Everything else is more of a like an analytical breakdown. Because like these guys are big as hell. So tell Turkey to cough up 80 million for Joshua for 60 and 60 for Water plus revenue and pay. Bro, I don't understand why Joshua and Water don't fight at this point. Like it just has to happen, right? $2 super chat, Prada, man. Always, man, you cutting the line in the chat, man. So I always gotta go to you. Wilder took a lot of the Fury. Usyk's better at the moment. You raise a great point. Those fights with Wilder and Fury was brutal. I was at 2 out of the 3 fights, and he didn't take a lot of punishment in that second fight. But that third fight, I'm telling you right now, that was like one of the most brutal fights I've ever seen in person. And it's not only because of the fact that they went down multiple times, but all the punches in between. It didn't seem like Wilder's punches on TV looked like they were extremely effective because they were slapping punches. But when you're up close and you can actually hear it, it sounded like death. That was one of the most brutal fights that I was able to witness in person just because of the massive size and just the punching power. Wilder had literally God-gifted power that even if his technique was trash, every punch sounded like it could have just took Fury out. And then Fury had this precise, accurate, thudding shot where you can see it just kind of constantly weighed on Wilder and it was just constantly thudding on him. So they just got completely destroyed in those 3 fights, especially the third one. So, and then, you can see it in the Francis fight that Fury took, a shot and struggled with a guy who didn't have the technical aspects to kind of be in there with him. So I do agree with that. And it makes it even more apparent that when Usyk fought him, he hurt Fury there too. So Fury tends to struggle with smaller guys. So I want to pick Usyk, right? I want to. Everything in my brain says Usyk. But with heavyweights, I always have to go with a feeling. I don't know. I haven't solidified my pick because I'm going to do a live chat tomorrow watching it with you guys. But I just right now feel Fury, but my brain says Usyk. So I'll have a definitive, pure answer by tomorrow before they fight. Turkey is a true hardcore boxing fan. You can tell by the great fights he's been working on lately. Yeah, as strange as it sounds, I feel like Turkey's more of a fan than a promoter, right? It doesn't really seem like his brain's operating on promoter time. It's more operating at these are the fights that I want to see and I want to put on, so I'm willing to try to foot the bill. He's not really thinking so much as a promoter, in my opinion, right? So I'm taking Fury again. Fury was outboxing Usyk until he got cocky and got clipped. He was never able to recover, and I'm expecting a trilogy from these two. yeah, I feel like it's gonna be Fury. You know, I thought Usyk had a world class performance, like probably the best performance ever in his career, because he was able to walk through the fire. And you know, you have performances where you're technically amazing. I think Usyk's always, most times, has that. You know, I know the Daniel Dubois fight was very controversial. Belt line shot, potentially got out, but we saw what Daniel Dubois was able to do with Joshua. So that aged okay, you know, that controversial fight. But to be able to perform in a fight where you're fighting arguably what many people thought was the best heavyweight in this era, a big, massive guy, losing multiple of the early rounds, getting outclassed, outperformed, and actually getting beat up. Usyk was getting beat up. To walk through that type of fire and have that type of burning desire to go through, that's a lot of will and power and mental toughness. And not saying that Usyk was never not mentally tough, but it's just to continue to have those type of performance back to back. It's hard to imagine. But if Usyk does it, then, you know, it just shows how special that man is and how different of a fighter he is. Like, his of a breed, you know, like special as in like pound for pound, like number one, like without a debate, you know. Especially if he has a fight where he has to go through the fire again. Can he go through it again? He has this country, you know, that's pushing him, and his heart is extremely big. He's coming in here with more political motivation. You can see the signs that he was carrying in. So if he has that same type of fire and will, then I just don't think that anyone could beat Usyk in this generation at this point. You know, regardless of my feeling and stuff like that, I think this is going to be just as tough as the first fight for Usyk, regardless that he won very clearly in a very tough fight. I just think he's just walking back into the fire again. Let me read a couple more. Will Fury fight dirty again? I mean, we'll see what type of, you know, performance he'll do. Fury elbowed Ngannou. I think it's going to be a rough and tough fight. I think that's what he's going to try. What happened to Drake Bell? He's doing his own thing, SB Prime. But what's up? Uno says leaning on him will wreck his legs. Fury 7/8 round knockout trilogy on the way. If he can actually corner Usyk and start to weigh on him, if you actually start seeing that apply, then you can safely start to assume that Usyk's gonna be in some serious shit. Prada, $2 super chat. Water took a lot. Oh, my bad. Damn. Usyk pace will make Tyson work more than usual. I mean, that's what makes Usyk special. I think his ability to do all that irky jerky. I mean, really, I think it's just his toughness, bro. Like, he's such a tough ass dude. Like, that's probably one of the toughest performances I've seen in a very long time. The will and desire. I think it's more than just his pace. Like, his mental toughness in that fight was insane. Usyk has a mental that only the greats have. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's possessed. Like, that fight, he was so possessed that, like it's so hard to even imagine. Like, I really thought Fury was going to win that fight. He had it in the bag, right? He was more technically sound early on. He was landing his shots. His feints was better. He was the bigger man. He essentially had his way. But something along the way cracked in Fury, where maybe he was just like, bro, his mental toughness broke and started to kind of like fatigue mentally, you know. And maybe that's what, you know, you're kind of say. I think you're saying that Usyk's pace would make Tyson work more than usual. I think his like mental toughness, which led to his pace, right? Like, that combination, you know, is the reason why. Because I feel like at a certain point, I feel like Fury was kind of like, fuck, dude, what is wrong? What is going on with this guy? And I think maybe Fury might have been outmatched mentally, and then it was just over from there. Takeover says, I don't think Fury can outbox Usyk, but I think he can outfight Usyk. Yeah, I mean, 55 pounds. He's big as hell, man. Fury's super heavyweight. Fury's a weight bully. I mean, essentially, he's in his own type of category, which keeps him, always in the race in these fights. And I think that 55 pounds is just so hard to ignore. Like, When's the last time you really seen like a guy skill for skill, right? Not saying like this guy's a lot more skilled and this guy's just big as hell, but skill for skill, like arguably like all-time great heavyweights going at it, and like the smaller guy wins, like, and if they're equally 50-50 skill for skill, if this guy's a little bit more, just a little bit more than this guy, but this guy is so much bigger, it's just tough to imagine, $2 super chat, Prada. Just so you know, I'm gonna use all these super chats when I go cover my next fight, so I really appreciate it. I seen Fury break when Usyk busted his nose, so that's the moment that kind of solidified. You saw Fury's mental kind of fall apart. Yeah, I agree. I really do hope Usyk wins. I think Usyk can win. It's just a tough fight. He has to go 12 rounds with a 55-pound different. Like, that's just a tough fight. Like, that's like, I'm trying to think. Like, rematches usually, if one guy's a significantly better boxer and the other guy's just a good fighter, the better boxer wins. They're both really good boxers. You know what I mean? Like, they're both really good boxers. So I don't really feel like if one person's a little bit better is going to be the difference. I think this time, that weight and size is really going to carry over. But if you see Usyk look as mentally as tough as he did the first fight, and you see Fury somewhere along the lines look like he's mentally falling apart, then that's when all right, it's going to be the same as the first fight. But if you see Fury cautious, rough, just a bully, you know what I mean? Just mauling him, leaning on him, putting him in the corner, abandoning the boxing technique, not even trying to box him, just trying to fight. Then I think that's when you're gonna know, like, this is not gonna be Usyk's night, But if Usyk can keep him at bay and then drag him in the later rounds and kind of discourage him and start catching him with a lot of good lefts, right? That was kind of the best punch of Usyk. Then I think, we'll see a repeat of that performance. But I don't know. Fury just had to destroy Usyk and knock him out. Yeah. And to be honest, I felt like Fury was kind of on the way of that. Like, it was just a switch that just happened somewhere throughout that fight. Like, the momentum just completely drastically changed. Usyk's footwork's going to play out better for him since Fury is going to be heavy. Yeah, I mean, granted, if Fury is not able to kind of move the way that he wants to, but I don't know. I think Fury's not trying to dance. I think Fury's going to conserve his energy, Rigo, and I think he's going to try to just walk and bring the fight. Calculated foot pressure. Stepping in the right direction and cutting off the ring accordingly. So, but it's hard. It's Usyk. I'm saying that like Usyk don't have one of the best footworks. He's fast as fuck. So, it's just a matter of just whose game plan is going to be able to execute. And, I don't think anyone's taking anyone for granted. I don't think Usyk's coming in there lightly. I think these guys are coming in locked in. I think this is a way tougher fight for both in the first fight, by far. Even though Usyk beat Fury, he's fighting a tougher Fury fight. Even though Fury, lost to Usyk first fight, the second fight Usyk comes in with the confidence even more. Has the better game plan, figure out the tendencies. And sometimes, if you think about it, if Usyk figured out the game plan from the second half, what makes us not believe that Usyk's not going to continue where he left off, right? Because that's what happened with Fury when he fought Wilder. He completely changed dynamics at the end of the 12th round and carried on what he did to Wilder at the 12th round to the second fight. So it's a tough fight, man. Like, I need to look at the odds, right? Like, Fury, Usyk, 2 odds. Usyk's a -140 favorite, right? And Fury's a +150. That's practically like almost a close pick'em fight. Usyk's a -125. Fury. So really, at the end of the day, like, whoever you guys pick, it's not really wrong. You know what I mean? I think it's just a matter of just who actually executes your plan better. Like, this is as 50-50 of a heavyweight fight can go, and you have to give it to Usyk. But, doesn't mean he's going to win the fight. Let me get some more comments. Sammy says casuals. Fury's beard is wide, very wide and thick. Hector says, so Fury leaning and smiling, waving at people while fighting Usyk. I mean, that's part of his gimmicks. So, Ignorant Boxing says, looking like Alicia Baumgartner's little sister. Damn. Hater? I'm just messing with you. I guess so. I mean, we're both black and Korean, so, yeah. That's probably why. My hair is kind of all fucked up right now, though. Uno says, trilogy on the way. Fury gets the dub. I think so, man. Like I said, my brain is picking Usyk, right? Like if I was to tell you guys who's the favorite, it's Usyk. What I have a feeling is Fury. I think so. He wanted to prove he could outbox Usyk until he started doing foolishness, right? Where can you watch the fight for free? Depends on what country you're in. Let's see. Prada $2 super chat. Water allowed Fury to lean on him. Usyk won't though. Yeah, I think Usyk's gonna try not to. I don't think anybody wants a guy 81 pounds leaning on him. So, but you know that's tough. Plus Fury has the long reach, so he's gonna be able to try to use his jab to try to cut off Usyk's path. So, if he jabs his way in, it could be very tough. You know. And if Fury's fighting like that, he's probably going to use a lot less energy, you know. So he's definitely going to try to fight and brawl and maul, man. That's like he says, he wants to smash him. So Fury has the ability to knock out Usyk. Oh, for sure. I thought he was going to knock him out in the first fight. It looked like it, but Usyk would be too smart for Fury. Very close fight to call. I agree. I think everyone in the chat can understand that regardless of who you guys are picking, I don't think it's an easy fight. I think everyone in the chat is going to, yeah, the fight is tomorrow night. Yeah, I will watch the zone. I will be doing a live chat tomorrow. I think everyone here, regardless of who you guys pick, if the other person won from your pick, you wouldn't be surprised, right? Like, I don't think nobody is here shocked that Usyk won the first fight, and I don't think no one will be shocked if Usyk lost the second fight, right? Tommy Fury is scared of Darren Till. Yeah, I don't know what happened to that shit. I don't know what happened. Like I don't know, like he was scared, but I don't know what happened to that fight. Like I thought maybe a Jake Paul fight might happen. Maybe that's probably what. But watch out for Duke Micah. I know Duke Micah personally. I've been covering him for a long time. He's kind of had some setbacks. He just lost recently, Quake. That fight isn't making any money. Too far in the red, and this won't be a big fight in the States. Nah, it won't be. I just feels like Turkey just putting on the fight because he wants to see the fight. You know what I mean? So, I think it would be huge in the UK, personally. I think Fury Usyk would be what they would say massive in the O2 and all that. Takeover says Team Fury. Usyk, man, he got it. It's easy to think like a fan when it's the country's money you're spending, not your own. Touche, tunnel vision. Fury won the first fight. The ref was Ukraine bias. I don't know. Like I actually picked Fury to win the fight, and you know, as a guy who covers the sport, you want to get more things right than wrong, so you can tell the fight fans like your track record, right? Because at the end of the day, like I think when I talk to you guys, like I've gotten a lot of fights right this year, right? You know, 9 times out of 10 I've got things right, so I don't want to be wrong, all right? But I know heavyweight's a completely different beast. And I think as much as I wanted to be right with the Fury fight and not go 0-3 against Usyk, you know, I thought Usyk won the fight personally. You know, I thought it was a very close fight still on the scorecards. But I think Usyk did enough, especially with a potential 10-8 round. I mean, he had him drunk. So that takes away another round or two. So Samson says, I got Fury this time. He always does better in rematches as well. Yeah. Boxio, what's up, man? Saludos, man. What's up? How's everything going, man? Holidays going well for you, my guy? Channel's going well. You know, Daniel Dubois beat him, got cheated. Facts. Yeah, it was. I thought it was a fair shot, right? Obviously, at that point, I thought, you know, I think this ref might need to reassess himself a little bit. But right after that, Usyk got up and stopped Daniel Dubois, which was unfortunate, right? But, you know, like I said, I don't think no one's taking away that loss that Daniel Dubois had with Usyk. I think if you did lose to Usyk, oh well. And many people argue that you beat Usyk. So, um, Eastern Europeans are tough. Absolutely. Cuban fighters are tough. Both tough, man. Boxio says the mental combat, not Fury versus Usyk. Yeah, this is a mental fight. This fight is more mentally, like, tough. Like, it's like, I don't want to say like Thriller and Manila, right? Because, you know, I don't want to compare Usyk and Fury to like Frazier and Ali, right? Everyone has their own styles, and I think that panning out their legacy right now is too soon to even compare, right, to Ali and Frazier, especially what Ali was able to do after that fight. But just the kind of like comparison as like you have to be mentally tough. Like this is the mentally tough fight of your career, right? You have some fights that you're fighting a guy that's dynamically bigger. You're fighting a guy that might be quicker, a guy that might be a little bit wittier. But then there's some fights that you have to like look at yourself and ask yourself like how bad you want it. It's more about that than like how many punches you do in the gym and your strength and conditioning, and like it comes down to everything in this case. And so when it comes down to this type of fight, it really comes down to biting down on the gum shield, walking through the fire. Like Usyk was getting destroyed early on. Like he was getting beat up, and something in him told him like keep going through the fire. You know what I mean? Like, and by all means, you know, Fury's tough as hell. He kept himself up. He kept himself up throughout the fight. You know, he could have fell to the floor. He could have all type of shit, but he kept himself up the best that he could, and it came out to a very close fight. So they're both mentally tough, and they have to go into that same type of dark place in their mind. You know, real dark, because you know, you could easily just think of all the happy things, all the money you're getting, all the great things you've already accomplished, the family you'll be going home to and spend the rest of your life with. But you got to go somewhere really dark and deep in a fight like this. And that's what, you know, I was saying, like the third in Manila. Like, those guys hated each other. So, like, they were able to bring that out of themselves. But, you know, I don't really see them hating each other. But, you know, Fury has a very dark mentality going into this fight. And Usyk has, you know, of a country behind him who knows that he has essentially their morale relying on this fight, you know, all their inspiration and hope, you know, so he has to go into a dark place of where, you know, of stuff like that. So it's essentially like these guys have to go into the well. I don't use the cliche line that everyone always says, but there's that well with the water, right? And you only can go to the well a couple of times before you drain it, and you have nothing more. Those guys have to go to the well, and Fury's went to that well a lot more times than Usyk did. So it's safe to assume that Usyk's the fresher fighter and the fighter that can dig in there a little bit more. But Fury's been into that well many times and knows how to use it very well. So if he has one more, and he's gonna drain it out, I mean, this is it, right? But I wouldn't be surprised that Usyk also goes into there. So boxing and wrestling is tough mentally, of course. JM says Fury's O-rated. Shocking that a horrible boxer like Wilder would have beat. If not, it's such a huge weight difference. I mean, I have my honest opinion about the heavyweight division. It might not sound very poetic, right? Excluding Usyk, right? Because Usyk's essentially the smaller guy that's moving up in weight, right? Kind of why I've kind of picked Usyk. I've picked against Usyk multiple times, right? You know, I thought he would lose to Joshua, and I thought he would lose to Fury, right? Typically, the bigger man would win, right? You got the gold medalists. They're actually Joshua and Usyk are both gold medalists. So, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I would assume that these big guys would give Usyk a lot of problems, and Usyk is just dominating it. And I think there's a lot of fundamental flaws in the heavyweight division. It's always been like that. You know, when they say pound for pound, I think the more technically sound fighters in the smaller weight classes. But, you know, it just seems like this era of heavyweights are exciting because they're all vulnerable and they all can kind of hurt each other and kind of create dramatic moments. And it's not like someone steamrolling through like Vladimir Klitschko with a couple hiccups here and there. it's a very, competitive, dramatic, controversial heavyweight division, and Usyk just comes through and just runs through it. So we'll see how everything pans out. But I would not say that this is the best heavyweight division out there. But size, these are some of the most massive guys out there, period. And so it does make up the difference. And it almost feels like it's the super heavyweight era opposed to the heavyweight era. You know what I mean? So, and Usyk, who's the smaller guy, coming through. And that's what makes him an all-time great, because he's able to go and overcome these size barriers. And that's what you ask for pound, like guys, to overcome these size and reach and kind of perform and show your skills. And I think that Usyk, for sure, has mastered that. Turning Bailey says Eastern European fighters are focused. You don't see them on social media much, but you do see them in the ring fighting. No one's calling out the Eastern European fighters. Yeah, I mean, you made your case last time. You championed Karen, in the Duran Ennis fight, where we're gonna see if that those two fights are gonna age well, right? Because Karen's gonna go on a fight in the welterweight division more and see who he fights. We're gonna see what Madrimov does against Virgil Ortiz. We're gonna see what Buyachek does tomorrow. So these things have to age out. But I know that you spoke highly, of Karen, and if Karen gives a lot of people problems, then that's another case of tough Eastern European fighters. Mean Machine was a butt of many jokes on Terrence Crawford's resume for a while until you saw him give Virgil Ortiz arguably the toughest fight of his career until Buyachek at 154. So Dennis Barachek beat Navarrete, and we saw how hard Navarrete hits and how dominant he is. Lomachenko, arguably in many people's eyes beat Devin Haney, many people thought was robbed there. Oleksandr Goschek, regardless if David says that he had an injury or not, went the distance and didn't really make David Benavidez look like the monster at the second half. So yeah, all these Eastern European fighters are just tremendous, and I think that because they don't have the marquee names or the difficult names to pronounce, especially in the West market, it does take away from a lot of these fighters' accomplishments. But I don't think anyone's sleeping on Usyk. So anyone who's fighting these tough amateur Eastern European fighters need to lock in, right? They definitely have a very disciplined mindset, like Mr. Quake says, and they're very technically sound. And which once was the Americans who had like an amazing amateur background and was dominating the Olympics, are now filled with Cubans and Eastern Europeans, and the more technically sound amateur fighters are from those two places. And so we essentially go pro and fight it out that way. So but time and time again, there's always this phenomenal Eastern European fighter in almost every other weight class. So Usyk's just different. Mila says he has great feet, hand speed, and Usyk's mentality is insane. Plus, he's an incredible boxer. Everything you say, I agree. Everything you say, I agree. It's just going against a 55-pound guy who can box, who is also skilled, can be, a tough fight to go back-to-back against, And if Usyk does it, I think anyone who questioned where Usyk belongs in the pound-for-pound list is, like he's 1-2. Like I know Crawford definitely has a great case, based on eye tests. But when it comes to a 55-pound weight difference, even Terrence has mentioned it. Like if someone puts Usyk over him, he doesn't mind it. You know what I mean? Like you're watching a guy who's really pushing himself to the limit. Like there's really nobody else Usyk can fight. Maybe a Daniel Dubois rematch because of the controversial at that point to be undisputed again. But really at the end of the day, if he goes out on Fury back-to-back, you really can't question this guy at all. Like this dude is probably arguably one of the best heavyweights that I've ever got to witness with my own eyes, and probably for all the little nerds and the Bible and Ring Magazine Bible studiers, like you got to start really looking at him and really assess like where does he belong at all time, right? Too Honest, what's up? Fury wins is a business play for part 3. What's up, Ron? What's going on, man? I got Fury. It's a feeling, right? Like you can see everyone, if there's a script in play, Eddie, Turkey, like everybody's saying Fury. It's very shocking to see, like just because I'm picking Fury and you're picking Fury, I expect to still see more Usyk picks, right? He's the guy that clearly dominated and won, so. Right, not taking anything from Fury, but I think Usyk has the eye of the tiger. Yeah, and I think that's what kept him in the fight. I think Fury was just styling him and just the persistent, hungry, like he was possessed. Like you can tell, like he was possessed that fight that night. Korean and black, I don't know about that. Damn, I don't know about that, fam. What do you mean? You don't know if she's Korean and black, or you don't know if I'm Korean and black? If you're talking about Alicia, I know Alicia personally. I've known her since she was a little one. So, what time the fight starts? Yeah, someone asked me that. I didn't look at the times. What? I guess I should always just start looking at times, but I feel like everyone should be able to just Google the times. But I guess coming here, I guess it's not wrong to ask me what time it starts. I guess they're saying the Usyk and Fury ring walk will be approximately 5 p.m. Central Time. So depending on where you're at, 5 p.m. Central. I saw that Oleksandr Usyk's eyes. Usyk would not be denied. Dana Dane says. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's literally the selling point of why this fight is so close, because I would just naturally just pick Fury. He's 55 pounds bigger. My fucking God. Like, he's going to fight him. He's going to try to maul him. It should be obvious now it's Fury. Fury's locked in, right? But Usyk's hunger is undeniable in that first fight. Say skill-wise all you want. He's a more skilled fighter, faster, footwork, move, and stuff like that. By all means, dude. Fury's coming here to smash and destroy him and fuck him up. Like, this is not going to be a pretty fight. You know, not at all. Fury's going to try to pull out all the tricks and try to maul him. But, you know, I still kind of have some doubts of me picking Fury, just because the fact that, you know, as much punishment he took in the first fight, he just walked through that shit. And then fucking cracked him across the face and then damn near knocked him out. So, how can I deny that shit, dude? Like, that dude, like, to be honest, he had him more drunk than Water did, to be fair. Like, on his feet, Water floored him. So, but, like, I have never seen Fury's eyes roll back. You know what I mean? And that took just persistence, man. Like, Usyk is a scary dude, man. Here we go. Oh, I see. Usyk has the best defense against Fury. He's going to be smothering to win. But it's going to be tough, man. Like, he's going to smother Fury. But then that's Fury. That's where Fury wants to be at, right? Like, smothering Fury would be just kind of playing into his own game plan, really. You know what I mean? African has talent. Western European has talent. Everyone has talent, man. Lots of Cubans compete in Olympics. Yeah. Fury's bringing back heavyweight boxing to mainstream. Watch out, Dana. Oh, why does nobody mention Martin Bakole? Because they scared of Martin Bakole. They scared of Martin Bakole. That's why. Nobody wants to fight. I need to go interview Martin Bakole. We follow each other on Twitter, so I'll probably, just for you, I'll probably go reach out to Martin Bakole. Martin's just one of those guys who's just like the ideal fighter that, like how we're talking about how Fury needs to fight Usyk. Martin Bakole is the ideal fighter to beat guys like that. Constant pressure, bricks in both hands, great counter puncher, great just foot placement. Like, he don't need to do much. He's just right there. You throw a punch, he capitalizes it. You know, and I know the Jared Anderson fight was very soon for him, but nobody wants to fight him, bro. Ege and Zhilei Zhang rather fight each other than fight Bakole. They both didn't want to fight him. So, Afi Ajaba's going to fight him. So, we'll see, you know. But Martin Bakole's the heavyweight boogeyman, man. No, we were talking about Fury, but Hitchens last week was disappointing. What do you think? I got shitted on pretty bad on saying that I thought that Paro did a lot better than what people thought in the early rounds, right? I know that people were like, Hitchens pitched a shutout in many people's eyes. People were saying like 3-9 and shit. I didn't see that. Like, I saw 4 or 5 rounds with Paro. You know, I thought Hitchens won the fight. I thought the second half was fairly in Hitchens' favor, but you know, I saw where you can give 4, maybe 5 rounds to Paro in the first 6 rounds, and you know, the right man won. But I just didn't really think. I didn't think Hitchens was as dominant as everyone thought. Like, I thought he won the fight clearly. I didn't think there was any controversy except for the judge that was Wiley Paro. But I did see Paro give him a lot of problems with counters early on, and you know, I think Hitchens' style was the style to beat Paro, and I did pick Hitchens to win that fight. But I don't know. Like, it really just depends on the type of opponent he faces. You know, I know that you were very critical because you felt like he didn't have the heart. You know, I don't know. I really want to say it was disappointing. It's just I just thought that that's kind of the style that Hitchens has. He has a fight that he doesn't really need to engage and put himself into a position like that. So, you know, I thought he fought an intelligent fight, and it played in his factor in the second half. So, but was it an entertaining fight? No, I'll probably never go back and watch that fight ever in my entire life. But did I pick him to win? I did. So he proved me right, and I'm happy for that because I've covered him for a very long time. So on a personal tip, I was happy to see him reach his goal. So now it's unification time. Now he needs to fight Tio, Devin, all those guys, and you know, and that's when it's gonna get tougher. You know, Puello, all those guys are gonna be tougher fights. Dana says, absolutely not. I lived through the Holyfield, Tyson, Bo, Foreman, Moore, Tua, Klitschko, Lewis, Holmes, Mercer eras of heavyweight boxing. Usyk's up there with all of them. I agree. Like, I feel like Usyk, you can take Usyk and move him into another era. This era doesn't really give me like the fighters. I mean, I guess we'll see tomorrow, right? Like, if Usyk beats Fury, because if I say I give Usyk all these props and then Fury steps on him tomorrow, then it like changes the dynamics. We just ended off Usyk beating Fury after the last fight, then yeah, you know, we got to see how it looks. Because he's going against a guy that's 55 pounds bigger, right? So that's a scary-ass fight. That's scary. You know, and Fury ain't no joke. He ain't no bitch. He didn't hit the floor when he got hurt. Like he's still fighting a live-ass dog, an angry-ass dog. You know what I mean? A determined dog. I feel like when Fury has his back against the wall, he kind of does a little bit better. He has this motivation where maybe he was lacking. Not saying he wasn't taking the fight serious, but him losing to Usyk only made Fury better. So I can only imagine this fight's going to be tougher. Does Usyk make the adjustments to make the fight easier than the first? Potentially. But I still think like him fighting Fury the second time is going to be... He gets more credit, in my opinion, fighting Fury now than the first fight. If I compare what was more credible win, it's going to be the second one because he's fighting him bigger. He's going to be a lot more determined. He's going to be a lot more hungrier. And he's going to be pissed off, and we already know what type of fight Fury's going to bring. He's going to bring a mauling fight. So, Christmas tree lights on in D.C. I want to see Usyk fight for the IBF belt. Yeah, I mean, that would be the only sensible fight after Fury. Is fight Daniel Dubois and then call it a day. 2-time undisputed heavyweight, undisputed cruiserweight, undefeated medalist. I mean, the motherfucker's the truth. That motherfucker the truth. Like Usyk the truth. Ron look like Scrappy Ramirez right now. Ron, long time no see. Happy Friday season, Greensboro. Yeah, damn. I got Scrappy Ramirez. He just fought recently too. What up, Con, man? Good seeing you back. Yeah, I know. I took a little break. I'm working on some interviews. I'm working on some stuff. I'm gearing up for a really busy January coming up. So took a little time. Been on the phone a lot with a lot of fighters. So I'm working on some stuff for next year. Yeah, in the 9th round, Usyk perfectly landed the equilibrium shot that made Fury more drunker than the average alcoholic. I was screaming that day. Wilder was just landing those hard, heavy shots. Yeah, you know, and I want to not take away the credit for Wilder, you know, landing good shots on what we consider as a, you know, one of the best heavyweights out right now. But I feel like Fury Fury's the best version of Fury in those 3 fights was the second fight. The best version of Wilder was probably the third fight. And I don't think Fury's best. I mean, how would I say? Fury's worst was the first one. Fury's best was the second, and Fury's middle was the third one. Wilder's best was the third one. Wilder's worst was the second one, and Wilder's middle one was the first. So if we do that math, Wilder's best still couldn't beat Fury's, and Wilder's worst clearly was getting his ass beat by Fury's best, and Fury's worst was still better than Wilder's. You know, so it's just at the end of the day, just Fury just had his number. Even though the first one was a draw, I thought Fury won. Not a chance there was a 55-pound weight difference. Fury's fully clothed in layers, basically a fake weigh-in. I don't know. Like, see, to be fair, you could be right. Or it could just be a ceremonial weigh-in where they just weighed in prior and then they just stepped on the scale for show. I don't think they weighed with clothes. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? But even if clothes, like, why is it such a dramatic difference between the two? You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he was fully clothed, because Usyk was fully clothed. They would have similar weight jumps from their previous weights, right? I do think that Fury did come in significantly bigger. So, is this the guy who used to be on the Boxing Voice? It was. Yes, I used to be on the Boxing Voice years ago, a long time ago. Yeah, Ness and I used to have good chats. So, good memory, my friend. But yeah, I used to do stuff on there a long time ago. Shout out to them, though. They're still rocking and doing their thing. Shout out to Ness and his essential new panel of guys that are coming into the sport of boxing. Wish all of them the best. I think Zhang has the perfect style to beat Bakoli. Southpaw, enormous, great time, excellent punch resistance, can hurt you with both hands. He does, only if he doesn't get tired, right? If the second half comes in, I think Martin Bakoli just steps on him. Zhang has a great counter shot, but, you know, he's over 40, you know? He's going to get tired. So, but, you know, that's heavyweight. No matter how many analytical breakdowns, I expect anyone to beat anybody, you know? I think Bakoli does beat Zhang, though, in my honest opinion. But I could be wrong, right? I've been wrong in heavyweight fights and practically in a lot of my picks. So that's why I say don't really take my heavyweight picks serious. Dana, no chance Bakoli bashes him up. Zhang is about 45. Bakoli's in his peak right now under Billy Nelson. He's extremely grounded, grafting away in the gym. Yeah. So it seems like a lot of people in the chat agree with what I'm saying. But, you know, Zhang's a great crafty counterpuncher, and as long as he doesn't get tired, right? Zhang's best opportunity is always going to be the early rounds. The later it gets, the worse it's going to be for Zhang. And you've seen it time and time again with the Joseph Parker fight and who was the guy that just lost to Igit? Which I thought Zhang did win the fight, but it was an ugly ass fight. It was against Philip Grovic. Yeah, he got tired in that second half. So, and yeah, he was definitely always going to beat Wilder. Anything can happen, but I really think Fury isn't going to underestimate Usyk this time. They're going to stay on the outside, and Fury wins by points. I don't know. I think maybe there might be a part of him that realizes that boxing may not be the way. And, you know, he's going to try to bash him up. Because, you know, he was boxing him beautifully, and I thought he was dominating early on. But I think maybe along the way, he probably felt that he could have probably put a little bit more pressure on him. But I don't know. Usyk was putting some zombie pressure on him. Like he was so possessed. Like, that's so discouraging when you're just beating this guy's ass. Fury was just beating him up. Like, I'm dead serious. He was beating Usyk up. Like, beating him up. Punishing Usyk. And what Usyk do? Stone cold face. Walking forward. Putting pressure. Eating the shit. Like, what's up? And then, like, That's why I keep saying, like, mentally, Usyk was possessed. I feel like anybody else would have just crumbled because he was just enduring punishment. Like, Usyk turned off his nerves and almost felt like he didn't feel the shit. You know, his body was reacting to it. But, you know, at the end of the day, I just thought that he was so desperate to win that fight. So, I don't think Fury underestimated. I just think Usyk just mentally drained Fury and skillfully was able to match Fury and was able to beat him, you know. So to do that again back to back with a guy that's 55 pounds bigger, that's a tough task to ask, man. You know, Balenciaga, I love to see that. Oh yeah, it's gonna be an AI machine that determines the winner. No, G Walls, they're gonna rob Usyk. Turkey wants a trilogy. No, so I put a tweet out, and here, let me go to my Twitter. All right. So I actually spoke a little bit on it. They said that they have a fourth judge that's not going to impact the rules right here. See, so this groundbreaking experiment, which won't impact the official results, debuts during the biggest fight of century. So my criticism was they claimed in the same video, free from bias and human error, but it's also powered by human expertise, right? It just sounds funny in one video. It's powered by human expertise, but it's removed from human error. It's gonna have flaws, you know what I mean? But no, it won't actually impact. It's just gonna be there for some sort of experiment, which I actually don't like the idea of AI actually being a ruling judge. You know, as corrupt judges can be in people's eyes. You know, or incompetent. You know, now you're gonna take the incompetence and put it in a machine and hope that whatever's flawed in human behavior gets it better. I don't know. It's tough. It's always going to be subjective at the end of the day. You like even using AI won't make it objectively right, you know. Wilder was best in the first fight, and third, he gassed out in 3 rounds. Think he was best in the first fight? Okay. I can respect that. I think he was better in the third fight because I think like he was aware of who he was fighting. He managed to have a better game plan. But yeah, he did tire out. You know, and probably worked himself out a little bit too much. But, you know, he had heart. I'll tell you that. So, but either or, I think interchangeable. I think Fury was going to win on all of them. But yeah, I accept. That's a good idea of how which versions of Wilder was better. G Wall says, I can't stand folks like you who have zero clue what they're talking about. The AI system's not part of the fight. Come on, don't be so mean to him. He didn't know, okay? There's so much misinformation out there on Twitter. I just kind of informed him over here. You know, he didn't know. G Walls. That's how I read your message. You know, he didn't know, okay? But like I said, they're not actually using it. You know, it's stated in there by Turkey. Scrappy's emerging fighter, another fighter, and not on social media. Taking tough opponents, developing highly skilled. Yeah, I like Scrappy. The only thing is, like, defensively, he has flaws. You know what I mean? So I just like him to tighten up a little bit more and work on those type of things. I think he's athletically gifted. I think he's a tough fighter, skillfully. He beats a lot of these guys. But he gets hit at times where he kind of could tighten up a little bit. But in smaller weight classes, they throw a lot of punches, so it's going to be hard, you know, to dodge everything. Alexander Hernandez. Listen, I don't care what anybody says. First time when Fury went from 350 pounds to 250, it was steroids used. Now he can't even go under 270. What weight class? Elephant weight cheater. I mean, if that's the case, man, then you should be getting your popcorn. Because if that's really true, man, you should be excited. Because if that's true, Usyk gonna beat his ass, and you should be happy about that, right? So, you know, still gonna be a tough fight, you know, for both guys. Wilder in the third fight was his most heaviest in his career, if I'm not mistaken. Was it his heaviest? Let's find that out. I don't know off the top of my head, so let's fact check that. 238, 231. Yeah, that was his heaviest. So maybe I take that back. Maybe that was not the best version of himself because putting on that extra weight did gas him out. You know what I mean? But I think the problem with Wilder is that he came in too small the first fight. So I really just didn't feel like that was the best version of himself. 212 maybe? All right. What was the weight that he was when he fought Ortiz? He fought Ortiz at 241. No, wait, no, that's what Luis Ortiz was. My bad. I'm sorry. I hate how BoxRec is confusing me. Luis Ortiz fought Wilder. Wilder was at 214. 219. Ah, okay. Maybe that is the better version of him. Maybe 212 is too small, though. I don't know. 213 versus Ortiz? Okay. I used to remember all these weights back then when it mattered, but now it's, you know what I mean, it was removed from it. So I'm actually pretty rusty, so my bad. But yeah, okay. Yeah, he did come in heavy, you know. And as you can see, he gassed out, so yeah. Correct. You're correct. Tyson Fury versus Fury 3, Deontay Wilder's 237, heaviest ever for him. Yeah. Yeah, he gassed out. Yeah, he gassed out. And I know that Fury was going through, like, problems because, like, I think he was having, like, scares of, like, one of his unborn child, or, like, you know, during pregnancy his wife was going through labor issues or something, so he wasn't mentally there. Plus, I'm not trying to give him a cop out, but, you know, when you kind of fight the same fighter over and over, you know, it can drain you. That's what Jaron Ennis was claiming in the Karen fight. So I do believe that does happen. But to separate yourself, I was talking with Breadman about that. What separates yourself from good and great is that even when you have those situations, you still find a way to be extremely motivated. And, you know, being good in those situations doesn't always equal you winning those fights. You got to be great. So you got to lock in. So, and he almost lost that fight too. So he almost got knocked out. With Usyk, his best, what up, Joshua? With Usyk, his best attributes is his excellent distance control, footwork, combos, and counters. With Fury being 281, I believe he's going to use that weight to drain Usyk in the clinch. Yeah, I get this sense that he's going to try to bully him. If he does try to box him at this weight, then I don't know why he's coming in that weight. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know what extra steam he's going to get on a punch from being, you know, he's going to be a lot more tired carrying that extra weight. So I agree with you. It's probably obvious what's going to happen. So 21 says, I think Fury stops Usyk this time. I'm leaning with Fury right now. You know, my brain says the person who should be the favorite is Usyk, which he is. But the person who I'm picking is Fury right now. But it could change tomorrow, you know. And if I'm wrong, I'm 0-4 against Usyk. And, yeah, don't ever let me pick against Usyk then. Ever pick against Usyk. Even if he retires, don't let me pick against him in anything else. Like, if he goes into celebrity dancing in Ukraine, don't let me pick against him. So, who do you think Bam fights next? It's tough, right? I can tell you who I want him to. I can tell you who I want him to fight. I had a brain fart. I forgot it's Jesse. That's why I had it. Let's look. I don't know. I really don't know. Like, Chocolatito would be cool. I mean, Estrada didn't exercise the rematch. Probably, like, the guy that beat Ioka. Maybe. This Fernando Daniel dude. He's ranked number 2. Ioka was a really big, talented boxer in this division in Japan, and just had an upset loss. And this would be a good fight. I know he has a rematch for Ioka, so if he beats Ioka again, then that's who I would want Jesse Bam Rodriguez to fight maybe next. You know? I mean, you know, just kind of doing boxing math. But I don't know the politics. I don't know if he's doing a tune-up. I don't know. Yeah, it was a great fight. This one should be better. Yeah, I think this is going to be a tougher fight. I don't even think the first fight's going to even match the type of mental toughness these guys have to bring in a rematch. Also, Ron, what's your thoughts on Fury weighing 281 for the rematch? Reminding me when my guy Zane was 284 and Wilder was probably as light as at 214. Mind you, in the Parker one, he was 216. Crazy. I think it's just what everyone else thinks. I think Fury's coming in here to fight Usyk. You know, when guys come in with extra weight, you know, they're going to try to throw that weight around and bully their opponent. You don't really gain anything from that when it comes to footwork. You're going to get more tired carrying around that weight. Punch resistance, I don't think it really would have stopped Usyk from hurting Fury if he was fit, you know, extra weight. You know, because it was a clearly clean flush left. And I just think that he's not coming here to box Usyk. I think he's coming here to fight him, you know? He continues saying he wants to smash him. He wants to fuck him up. And Usyk's going to have a great boxing performance. I think personally, I think Usyk's going to have a lot of problems early on in the fight. I do. And it's going to be very similar like the second fight, where if he can weather the early storm, then he'll be able to get a lot more success. But I think it's going to be a tougher first half because Fury was able to have his way with him boxing. So if he had his way with boxing, you know, he's going to use that same IQ to try to fight him. You know, if he was able to touch him from a distance, I think he's going to be able to touch him coming up close. And he's going to really actually put on a tough fight. So if Usyk is able to get out of that shit early on, then he should win the fight. But if Fury gets his way, I think he stops Usyk midway of the fight. But if Fury can't get it done, I think Usyk's going to skate out and then have a lot of success. And that's how the first fight went. But we'll see, man. In my opinion, the judging won't matter after the Wilder trilogy. Ngannou fight Fury carrying so much extra body fat this time. Usyk's going to drill him with combinations. Fury won't last 10 to 12. I think if Usyk gets past the 6, I could see that happening. Usyk stopping Fury, you know. I think Usyk just has to get to the later rounds and bring Fury into the later rounds because that extra weight's going to be detrimental at that point for Fury, you know. Especially he's going to put a lot of energy coming after him, fighting, leaning on him. He's going to exert so much. But by the 10th and 11th round, I think Fury's going to be pretty tired. And if Usyk didn't take a lot of punishment, or even if he did take a lot of punishment, he's still fresh and he's still possessed, then, you know, Usyk's going to go through and fight. So Fury is on PEDs if he's bulked up. I don't know how Saudi Arabia does their drug testing. You remember Tevin Farmer claimed that VADA was understaffed for their Riyadh season fight, and they didn't test Zepeda or him, which is really weird. What does it mean to be understaffed when it comes to drug testing? You just, hey Farmer, hey Zepeda, we're going to need a sample, right? Like if they were doing a drug testing, like urine sample you're collecting samples. You're not testing in Riyadh. You're just collecting. So I never understood that. So I don't know. Maybe we can start getting some drug testing questions more and more out in Riyadh season. So kind of figure out what's going on out there. Rob the Barbarian, $2, Super Chat. Psh, appreciate it. Gun to head, who got you winning tomorrow? I got Fury. And I say that with low, light energy because I'm 0-3 against Usyk. So I would like to get something right when it comes to this. But I got Fury, right? But even though I got gun to head, I got Fury. That's a feeling. My brain's telling me Usyk. My heart's going with Fury. And I'm sticking with my heart. Because when it comes to heavyweight picks, I try not to use my brain because I typically get stuff wrong when I use my brain. And like the reason why I thought Usyk was going to lose the last fight is because I tried to pick my brain, right? I thought the Fury fight was going to win. My heart was Usyk. Sure enough, should have went with my heart. So I had Usyk the first time, but I bet it on Tyson Fury by decision this time. So you might be right. See? If you were right the first time, probably right this time. Wilder at his best was at 220, 225 range. So that was the weight that Wilder was when he fought Fury, right? when Wilder fought Fury, he was like, what, 228? So because he was out of 3 pounds over it, would you consider that not in his range? All right, because he fought Wilder at, Wilder was 231. Okay. He did it, and he'll do it again. USA Boxing. I think Usyk would drop Fury this time if he catches him like Francis did. Now, the one thing that makes me still hesitant to go with Fury, even though I'm saying Fury has mileage on him, dude. Like, this dude has been in so many tough fights. Like, if we look through Fury's, like, he got hurt really bad in Usyk fight and got, a lot of tough punches on him. Francis dropped him. That was a tough fight. Chisora is Chisora. Dillian White is Dillian White. Took punishment in the third fight. Otto Wallin, he took a lot of cuts. He had stitches and he took some punishments in there. Tom Schwartz, whatever. Deontay, he took punishment in that fight. Pinata, Safar, Vladimir Klitschko. Steve Cunningham dropped him. And then he got dropped, I think, one more time by... who was that guy early in his career that dropped him, I think? Right? He got dropped. Or was it only Steve Cunningham? Oh, no. It was this guy. Nevin dropped him, too. That's a lot of punishment. You know what I mean? Like, he took a lot of tough fights. And his body hasn't been treated well throughout the years, too. So, that matters. So I wouldn't be surprised if Usyk dropped him. And even though I'm picking Fury, it's not like by like a big pick. Like, I'm like a 51-49, right? It's just a feeling I have, So it's not me discrediting Usyk. I'm kind of tired of losing against Usyk, but I do recognize that he's probably the pound for pound guy. Him and Crawford, interchangeable. But if Usyk goes out there and does his thing against Fury, it's gonna be hard to defend. Saying that Usyk's not, because that dude's fighting talented guys that are extremely big. So right, just picking up samples weird. I never understood that. That made no sense. That whole VADA shit. I don't know, dude. Like, I think at a certain point, someone really needs to get into this whole like drug testing situations, because it's getting absurd, right? Like, we don't have like transparency with it. It should be very obvious when it comes to drug testing, and it should be brought up in almost, and I'm guilty of it too, right? I don't run to drug testing questions and everything, right? Because it's not the most headlining thing, right? Sometimes we get a certain amount of time. Plus, I don't know, maybe fuck it. Maybe I'll just start asking drug testing questions more often, just because it just gets ridiculous when you kind of get a situation where everyone else gets drug tested on the card, and then all of a sudden the excuse why one fight particular didn't get it, it's just because they were short staffed. Like, it doesn't make sense. But it's boxing. Would Drake bet? Probably. Focus. You have seen and been around a lot of fighters from one range to the next. You can tell by now your opinion should be based on your gut, based on your experience. Well, the only reason why, and I say this respectfully, Bailey, is that heavyweight is like a whole nother sport, right? I can use the same type of philosophy and theories and like smaller weight classes, right? Because they apply a lot better. But when it comes to heavyweights, it's just such it's such a harder division to call, because it's really that division that one punch can change everything. And to be fair, Usyk was able to change the dynamic of the fight after one punch. And I'm not saying that he didn't do a lot to get to that punch, to go through the fire, toughness. He had to land the right shot, counter to counter. It was the left shot that Fury tends to get hit off. Like, it was all calculated, not taken away from it. And you can say that about all other weight classes too. Well, Ron, one shot can change it all there. But the impact of heavyweight one shots is dramatic. You know what I mean? You never really truly seen a heavyweight go through his whole entire career and be completely flawless. You know, Usyk has a controversial win against Daniel Dubois, right? Arguably, but could have been stopped by Daniel Dubois off of one body shot, right? That Daniel Dubois was getting styled in the whole entire fight. So, like, in heavyweight, there's a lot more of this guy's dominating, and then the one shot happens and changes everything. So, it's just tougher. And heavyweights, the way that their bodies are, it's never consistent because they're always coming in inconsistent weights. And it never really kind of like gives me a constant variable pick on how these guys operate at certain stuff, right? Like we just did a whole entire dissect of Wilder's considerably best weight because Wilder comes in like 40 different weights. You know what I mean? This weight. He's big here and he's around this weight and he's too small here. Like you don't get a consistency, right? So Fury's inconsistent weight at heavyweight is tough. You know what I mean? And you know, I can guess that Usyk's gonna be faster and sharper and all this type of stuff. But Usyk hasn't fought the 55-pound different version of Fury. You know, he fought essentially like the 20-pound lighter version of Fury. You know, so 20 pounds is 20 pounds, and it's just so much harder to make heavyweight picks because of stuff like that. It's just so fucking hard. You know, they hit the hardest. Their weights vary, you know, for better or worse. And if you get two guys that are like legitimately and talented boxers, they're going to be, you know, adjusting your game plan pretty well. And all those other variables, you know, Usyk might feel like I could take Fury's punches. Maybe he was thinking, hey, I can go through it. And now all of a sudden these extra weights, when he gets his punches, he's going to be like, fuck, dude. Shit hurts. Different game plans. Leaning on an opponent is a lot more of a game plan of a heavyweight than a game plan of smaller weight classes. Unless, you know, a weight bully. But even then, you don't really see people leaning on opponents in like welterweights and middleweights, you know what I mean? Like you kind of see it to kind of kill some time and exhaust themselves. I mean, get their energy back. But heavyweights, they do it to exhaust, you know what I mean? Exhaust their opponent. And so it's just so hard for me to make heavyweight picks. And that's why a lot of people feel like it's the most exciting division, because regardless of how much people been around the sport, you know, like how you're giving me credit, we just can't fucking get it right. We just can't, no matter what. And, you know, I'm going to try my best to get it right, but it's heavyweights. You know what I mean? Some people just have some people's numbers. It might be Usyk in this case. It might just be Usyk just had a version of Fury that was more beneficial. Now tomorrow he's going to get fucked up. And now we're going to really realize what a heavyweight is. A super heavyweight is, right? So the one thing Fury I see, he always struggles with cruiserweights. Like Steve and Usyk have footwork and maneuver around him. Smaller like his Chisora. White made errors by training with him. Yeah. I mean, you know, having a punch down versus having a punch, you know, all that stuff, you know, plays a factor. You know, the footwork's definitely going to be a problem with Fury, and Usyk's just a tough ass guy. You know, I think Usyk's toughness alone is going to be hard to deal with. Like the face off, they did like a 10-minute face off, and Fury had to pull away, and then you like mentally, it just feels like Usyk's stronger than Fury. It just feels like Usyk's just determined, a dog, motivate. Like everything about Usyk is very stoic, while Fury is trying to capture this dark side of him again, which brought the best out of him. And Usyk might have done that. It might have triggered that beast, and then we'll see. But yeah, dude, it's just hard. You know, heavyweight should be broken in 2 more weight classes, heavy and super heavyweight. That's why I'm saying, like, if Usyk goes in there and destroys Fury, it's like, as much as I'm a Bud guy, you know what I mean? And even Bud has said it, like, he wouldn't be mad at anyone put Usyk over him. And, you know, and Usyk claims that Bud is the pound for pound over him. And that's what these guys do. Like, they admire each other and, you know, respect to all. But it's going to be really hard to say, like, a guy who moved up from cruiserweight and is fighting arguably one of the biggest, talented, most skillful heavyweight of that size ever. And if he beats him with a 55-pound difference, you know, you just have to You just got to give your flowers to Usyk. You got to give them to him now already, but you just really have to just give that man his flowers. Like, that guy is the truth. Like, if Tyson Fury wins, would you put him top 5 heavyweights of all time? Maybe like top 5 in this era. Like, I don't really want to say like I have the biggest grasp of every heavyweight, fight of all time. I went through like historical summaries, right? From way back then. And a lot of those guys were just extremely fundamentally flawed, but fought through horrific, how would I say, like, just barbaric, like, conditions, where they would fight like 100 rounds in the blazing heat sun, like in stadiums and like shit like that. You have to admire, because that's like heart of a true warrior. And so what they lack at skill, their heart carries them. So like, if a person's able to go 100 rounds in the blazing heat of sun, can I question, can he get through like modern fighters where some people might just quit? All right. But would this more modern skillful fighter beat them? So like, I try not to go into too much of the top 5 of all time, because I really don't know. And to be honest, when people do that now, it's almost like, I don't want to insult them, because like books are out there and all that stuff, but it's almost stupid, because it's like, how can you, if you weren't there, you didn't really know them, and you're basing off what other people were saying to a certain degree. Yeah, you can watch film, you can study, but then you have to understand the rankings and why certain fights were certain made. And, and there was segregation back then. So a lot of times, like, certain fighters weren't given opportunities to fight, and, Jack Johnson was a case of a guy who actually was able to fight, but really at the end of the day, that was just fight fans wanting to see the best fight the best. Other than that, segregated. So, So I just really can't really say that. I can only really speak on modern times, you know what I mean? In modern times, would it be top 5 heavyweights? I think so. I think probably maybe like bottom 5, like, but that's a hell of a top 5, to be in. Let me see. Heavyweights. Let's see what BoxRec has, all right? Because this is BoxRec, all right? And I guess it depends on how modern we're getting, right? Joe Louis, do I think Fury's over Joe Louis? No. Over Ali? No. Gene Tunney? He's fighting Jack Dempsey, and it depends on how you rate Jack Dempsey. That's not modern, but Lennox Lewis? No. I guess this depends on when you put Rocky Marciano, if he's modern. Vladimir Klitschko, Vander Holyfield, like, based off points, they got Tyson Fury at 24. Sonny Liston had a fucked up, like, his group of guys that he fought weren't really tough, and he won't get credit. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, where do I assess this? All right. Is he better than George Foreman? Do you consider George Foreman a modern heavyweight? Because he did fight in modern time, right? Oldest heavyweight. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I put Tyson Fury in top 5. It's no disrespect. I think Tyson Fury is a hell of a heavyweight. But as a top 5, by going through beating 38-year-old Vladimir Klitschko, which was at the end of his career. Deontay Wilder, who was fundamentally flawed and went in life and death in the 3rd fight. Arguably almost lost to Francis Ngannou. Lost to Usyk. Nah, man, I can't put Fury top 5. I can't. I can probably say that if he beats Usyk, he's the best heavyweight out right now. But that's just lets you know how I feel about this era of heavyweight, Like, I don't really think I think him and Wilder goes down in one of the like best heavyweight kind of trilogies. You know, do I think Fury gets in the Hall of Fame? Probably, yeah. But top 5 heavyweights of all time? No. Now the more I dissect more and more, nah, I can't, dude. I can't. You know. But overall, y'all, I just want to just jump on real quick. I haven't been live for a while. I think I've only been, what was it? This has been about almost a 2-hour live. So, I know it's Friday. I don't want to keep you guys in here forever. Constance Fury at most is top 100. Those guys at top 15 boxer would demolish Fury and put him in a compact corned beef can. Yeah, and like, you know, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and be like, let me tell you about young Stribling. Like, I'll be dead serious. I cannot tell you about 1933 fights. Like, I fucking can't. That's ignorant to me to go down and be like, yes, let me tell you about the fights that happened in 1923. Like, anyone who speaks about that shit now, and I'm not throwing shade at nobody, it's just my personal opinion, is stupid. It's fucking stupid to act like you know this shit. You know what I mean? Like, you have to draw a line in an era and be like, this is where I can kind of educate myself to give well-knowledge, or I can educate people on a well-knowledge opinion. I can't educate people with fucking, what is his name? Young Stribling. You know, I can't even do that. I can watch every Larry Holmes fight. I can watch a lot of his opponents. I can tell you Larry Holmes is a hell of a heavyweight. I can tell you, you know, Joe Frazier is a hell of a heavyweight. Evander Holyfield, Vladimir Klitschko, Jersey Joe Walcott to a degree, Rocky Marciano to a degree, you know, Floyd Patterson, you know, somewhat. Lennox Lewis, I can. You know, Ezra Charles to a degree. Muhammad Ali, I can. Joe Louis, I can. You know, Gene Tunney, not really. You know what I mean? Like, so. No. The fight's tomorrow, guys. This is just a pre-show. Guys, who should you bet on? I think Usyk, but people saying Fury. It's a pick'em fight, Rebellion. Like, to be honest, like, my brain's telling me Usyk, but my heart's saying Fury. So, like, you gotta just kind of go from there. But also, I really wanted your thoughts on Jaime getting stopped by the guy that reminded me of Alan Garcia, aka Kid Cancer, got stopped by a journeyman who had 2 knockouts in his record. Crazy work. Fundamental defensive flaws. I think Kid Kansas. I think that kid's tremendous. I think he's extremely talented. He's about to actually have a fight in Kansas coming up as a return fight. I think that kid's talented as hell. You know what I mean? But you know, he made a couple fundamental flaws, and you know, he paid a price. Same with Jaime Munguia. I think the case with Munguia is that he's always had defensive flaws. He's never been a defensively sound guy, but very tough, strong chin, well offensive place shots. And when you get a guy who kind of relies on his, you know, I can't really say size, because he's now like essentially in his size, right? Like, he's fighting guys that are his size, in my opinion. But before, he was the bigger guy significantly, offensively talented, young, youthful, didn't have mileage on him, but he's been in a lot of wars. He's been hurt in a lot of fights. His punch resistance isn't the same. You can see he's been dropped by Canelo. He's been in wars with Sergey Derevyanchenko, going to war with Liam, what's his name? When he was at 154. Yeah, we'll go down right here. Yeah, like, he went to war with, you know, like, he had a tough fight with Dennis Hogan, Liam Smith. Yeah, like, that was a fucking, Jesus, that was a war. Who else? He ran through John Ryder. So, you know, it just happens. Eric Banzinian was a tough fight. You know what I mean? So, you just keep taking those type of fights. You don't improve on your defense. You rely on essentially great offense, poor defense. You're eventually going to get clipped. So, you know, he's going to have the rematch, and we'll see. You know? I mean, this guy was undefeated. I know he has 2 draws. He was the #1 ranked guy in France. I can't really pull his box rec prior to the win because I know it was bumped up right here. But, you know, at the end of the day, his record is suspect, you know. So we'll see how the rematch goes. You know, he could be a guy that never was given an opportunity, and now the Munguia fight shows. He did get dropped by Munguia. But, you know, we can only tell. But offensive, great. Defense, you know, we got to work on that. So I think all punches hurt. Just, you know, the right shot has to hit, and I didn't see that coming. So saying Fury looks so serious, yeah, I think he's coming in to fight. He's not coming to box. He's coming to fight. So I'm picking Fury, but I wouldn't say that's my betting pick because I don't bet. You know, it's a tough fight. What at Mexican boxing? You would come in here while we're talking about Munguia getting dropped. I think, though, no matter what Fury does, Usyk has an answer. People think Fury will lean on him and tire him out, but Usyk's movement is too good to be pinned down. I don't know, man. It's not about Fury coming in clean and pretty. It's coming him. I don't know. We'll see. You know, he has great footwork, but what I think Usyk had in the Fury fight was fire. And he ran through the fire, and he pushed through the fire. I think a lot of people forgot Usyk was the pressure fighter. You know what I mean? So he's going to pressure the guy that's 55 pounds bigger. We'll see, man. Yeah, these young prospects need to stop trying to be switch hitters, and not everyone can pull it off, and you must master it. Allen was doing it way too much, which cost him. Yeah, a lot of catch and shoot. Very talented kid, you know what I mean? He was a kid that, you know, I still got my eye on him just because of one loss, you know what I mean? But, you know, what a loss does in boxing, it sets you back. But the things that I was able to see what that kid do in his professional fights was great. Great work. Thought this kid was extremely talented. You know, I've seen him up close when he fought on BOK Prime. You know, I've seen him up close when he fought on the Teofimo Lopez card against Jermaine Ortiz. And, you know, he was a sparring partner for Ryan Garcia. So very talented kid. It just happens in boxing. And, you know, and he did one fundamental mistake that cost him. So that's all it takes. Lee McGregor would beat the shit out of Isaac Lowe. Oh, man. Dude, I ain't gonna lie. I don't want to be like that guy. But I am not interested in that undercard. You know what I mean? Let's see. I'll just go Tyson Fury. That's a rough undercard. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean? Like Isaac Lowe, no offense, but Isaac Lowe has not impressed me at all. And when he fought Alberto Lopez, man, that was brutal. Yeah, he went and fought Alberto Lopez and Nick Ball. You know what? Those aren't bad losses in hindsight. As much as at the time of him getting stepped on by these two guys, they aged really well. So Isaac Lowe, but them 3 draws. Jeez, Ryan Walsh. Man, yeah. But, you know, am I interested in him and Lee McGregor? No. Like, the fuck? It's a terrible undercard. Why are you even talking about Lee McGregor and Isaac Lowe? You must know one of them personally. Is there one belt on the line or no belts? No, there's belts. The IBF is not on there. The WBA is on there. Just BoxRec doesn't show the WBA. That's to Turkey's doing. Turkey's is doing everything in boxing. Holyfield beat Foreman. Look how big Foreman was. Yeah. And Foreman still had his power. And he had his chin. That was a brutal fight, Rebellion. Yeah. This is an old Foreman, but still. Tough-ass fight. Foreman was touching Holyfield up, too. I remember when I was with the Boxing Wars at the time, I did have to show Ness, Holyfield, and Foreman. He's never saw that fight. I was shocked. But, yeah. I remember the brutal fight. That guy was timing the looping right hook from round 4. You can see him attempt it, but he was determined. Game, Jaime looked out of shape. And yeah. I do feel like Munguia kind of looked a little flabby and shit like that. But, at the end of the day, you can't make excuses, man. At the end of the day, if he faced an opponent that was flabby, he didn't want to hear that, oh, I was out of shape, that's why you beat me, Munguia. So it's the same way. And he has a rematch clause, so good on their part. So, who do you think Devin fights? Absolutely have no clue. No idea. Not the Hackett. He's not fighting Hackett. He's not out of that. I really don't understand why this Teo fight don't get made. I think Bill recently spoke that he doesn't want to fight on anything top rank related. So how are you gonna fight Teo? Alberto Pollo, no. I think Pollo's gonna be fighting on a PBC event coming up soon. I think and then what, Richardson Hitchens? I mean, I think it should be Richardson Hitchens, right? So, but he probably needs a tune-up. Be out of the ring for a year. He's about to have his first child. So, I don't know. I think whoever Devin fights should be kind of an entry to get back into the sport, and then take a good fight afterwards. He took a lot of punishment and went through a lot of mental gymnastics in his brain and trying to justify why he lost to Ryan Garcia. Is it the Osterine? Was it the left hooks? You know what I mean? Also heard that trainer legend Eric Morales made Jaime go to the same sauna prior to the fight. Yeah, I heard a lot of criticism on Eric Morales. So, yeah, shed the remaining pounds, which is an old school trick, but really weakens fighters, so wasn't surprised. Yeah, I heard Eric Morales got dragged through the mud pretty bad. So, Foreman gave Holyfield a fight for sure. Holyfield was hurt several times. Go back and watch the fight. I watched that fight many times, barely. Hell yeah, that was a war, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm a 90s baby, so, like, I had to go back and study the Ken Norton and Larry Holmes fight. I had to go back and study, the Ali's and stuff like that. But when I was growing up through the 90s, and I was very young, I still had to go back and watch the 90s fight because I was born in 1990, so it's not like I have vivid, pinpoint memory of certain stuff. But I watched a lot of boxing because of my dad, and I had to go back and watch the fights in the 90s. So when I rewatched the Holyfield Foreman fight, I was like, holy shit. These guys were just, their engines were infinite. They were mad and shaped. Their punches was hard. Their chin was great. Their shot selections were amazing. It was just different, bro. I just watched Dillian White recently just have a comeback fight. And I'm just like, bro, Foreman was old as hell giving Holyfield, which arguably was the gold medalist, fucking hell. Like, I don't hear this shit, man. Yeah. 90s different. I heard Devin turned down a Saudi fight with a 14-2 guy. I can't verify any of this, Khan. I think it'd be disservice to the Haney's for me to just kind of say this type of stuff. So I think personally, I hear a lot of he say. I know Teo claimed that they had an offer. Bill is claiming that they had an offer with Turkey, and same with Devin. So I really don't know. I know that if Turkey's involved, he probably doesn't want to make a whack fight. I know that Devin probably does need a tune-up. But even if he turned down the guy that's 14-2, I mean, do you really want to see Devin fight a guy 14-2? Like, what do you... at some point, Devin needs to come back, either have a tune-up or jump right into it. So, I wouldn't be mad at a tune-up. He probably should be a tune-up. But if he does fight someone notable, it should be Teo. If not, Richardson Hitchens, Devin is done at the top level because everyone knows he just has no power and chin going to end up like Colbert. I think he has great boxing ability. I think Devin has the ability to outbox Teo, and I think Teo has the ability to knock out Devin. So, they're both kind of at that same kind of stage. I think they need to fight each other, and it's just long overdue. So, What up, Warlock Boxing? What's up, man? You're catching me when I'm about to get off, man. I'm gonna get some food. So, but I'll be doing a live stream of the fights tomorrow. Preferably like maybe like 2 fights before the main event. I don't want to do that whole card. This card is terrible. Like I'll watch the Johnny Fisher David Allen fight, but I don't really care. The Moses I'll watch the Moses fight. This is the co-main, right? The Peter McGrail. Why is this the co-main? Wait, what's the co-main? Moses is the co-main, right? Am I tripping? I don't know. I just know I want to be there for the Boyacek fight and the Usyk Fury fight. And I want to check out this Moses guy that everyone's praising. I mean, I'm going to watch the card. It's just, do I want to be live the whole time? Probably not. I remember Holyfield questioning whether his mouth was still intact because the blows he took from Foreman. Yeah, that's why he kind of talks the way he does. Riddick bows and the Foremans and too many. And he fought way past his prime. Heavyweights today do not exchange like heavyweights fighters in the past. Holyfield Foreman is an example. Yep. Holyfield, Riddick bow. All that shit. What's that fight that Holyfield had in cruiserweight? Holyfield's been in some wars, man. 3 Riddick bows. I mean, he took some punishment in that Michael Moore fight. He took some punishment in the James Toney fight. Yeah, the George Foreman fight. Yeah, he took a lot of tough fights, man. Was it this fight? No, who was the bald dude that he was fighting? They were going ham. Was it Michael Dokes? No, that's heavyweight. Dwight Muhammad Kawhi. That had to have been it. There was a fight Holyfield was just in cruiserweight, just going to war. Fucking going to war, man. Devin seems to be motivated to take on Catterall as a comeback fight, but most likely he's going to wait the winner Catterall. Yeah. Wait that. That's a good point. But then why would they want to go to Devin when they can go to Tio? I don't know. We'll see. Get a game face ready tomorrow, 10 to 20 ready for you. Depends on what you're coming with. Appreciate it always, man. Dwight Kawhi. Okay, it was. All right, it was. I just had to see his face. I just had to see it because man, I'm not even gonna play the fight, but I just want to see like thumbnails. Like this fight was outside, right? This was outdoor. I can't remember. There was like a fight that was also out. This had to have been the fight though that I'm thinking of. Yeah, this was. Jeez, man. Devin and Tio not on the same level to me. 2 didn't get dropped. Devin. Well, I meant like. You raised a good point. I meant like career-wise, right? Like they need each other to get to the next stage, right? Like Devin needs a Tio fight, and Tio needs a Devin fight. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of to take themselves to that next level, because you're not gonna really get that with Alberto Puello. You know what I mean? And so, but if not, Richardson Hitchens, you know, Usyk's way better than these guys, in my opinion, than those guys. You talking about? You think Usyk's better than those guys from the 90s? Let's see. He gets through Fury tomorrow, and then we can start comparing. You know, I think Usyk's already made a case to belong in those guys. I agree, but I like to do like comparisons at the end of people's careers. So, you know, because anything can change tomorrow. You know what I mean? Our mindset can be completely different after the Fury fight. So, Also, Boychuk Ismail Davis is co-main. Original was Israel, but yeah. So they are still so Boychuk's still the co-main. Got it. All right. I know it was Madrimov, and he's allegedly sick. Yeah. Fury wins. Yeah, I have Fury. Holyfield fought Dwight Kawhi. Must see TV. Guys, go watch. Yeah. No. I might actually go back and watch. When I get my food, I might just turn that on. Just a fucking good ass fight, right? I need some of that, man. I need 2025 to be a good year, man. You know, it just feels like there was a big 2023. Wait, right? We're in 20. What year are we? I'm tripping. Damn, I'm getting to that point where I don't even know my age and stuff. What year is this? 2024. Okay, we had a good 2023. That's right. 2023. I'm in my 30s, so I'm starting to feel that feeling when you start forgetting your age. Right? 2023 was great. It was great. This year, not so much. I mean, I know we have better be Bivol and Fury and Usyk, so I don't want to be, but I need next year to be like what 2023 felt like. 2023 felt amazing. So that fight when Kawhi dodged 15 consecutive punches to such a master defense. Yeah, man, I'm getting off. I'm going to watch the 80s. You guys should go on YouTube and watch some fights from the 80s too. Teal doesn't look good at 140. Lost to Sandor Ortiz, in my opinion. Yeah, I thought so too. But they still need to fight each other. My second favorite cruiserweight was James Toney taking on... Oh, Vasily Jirov, Eastern European, into Bailey's case, gold medalist, Ukrainian, right? Yeah, that performance was amazing. David Haye was an animal at cruiserweight for sure. Who do you have winning, Nelson versus Pacheco? What up, Great Gambino? Yo, that's a sleeper fight. Pacheco should win the fight because he has all the attributes. But knowing how Pacheco looked in his last fight, that was out in Vegas, right? What was the dude's name? He was having fits. He was having fits. He was fighting. Not his last fight. It was he fought Selecki. This guy. 31, relatively tough, guy. Gave Pacheco a lot of fits. And I think Steven Nelson is a lot craftier. He's older, 36. Inactivity has been kind of the plague of his career. I do think Pacheco should have that youth and athleticism over Steven Nelson. But Steven's tough. He's crafty. He's been Bud's main sparring partner for years, so he definitely knows a lot of tricky stuff. He's strong. He can punch hard. He has a great corner. That's a tough fight. I think this is a fight where Matchroom, even though Nelson doesn't bring the cachet name, this is a fight where I think they needed to give him to really see if he can actually handle the upper echelon. Steven Nelson is kind of an unproven upper echelon kind of guy where he's never got the opportunity to prove that he's that kind of guy. But watching him and seeing the corner and the things like that, this just might be the timing. This might be the best time to get Steven Nelson for Diego Pacheco because of. But if Steven Nelson has a really good camp, really good night, don't be surprised even if Pacheco does win, looks like shit, or has a controversial fight. But if he blasts Steven Nelson's out, that's a statement. So I'm going to edge Pacheco. I think I'm going to be a little biased rooting for Nelson because I've covered and known Nelson for a very long time. Not saying I also haven't covered Pacheco for a while, but I just have a better relationship. So I probably am aware of some of my bias. But I think it's a great fight. I think that's a tough fight. And it's happy for Steven to have an opportunity like that. So Heavyweight Wars, Moore beat Cooper. Moore versus Alex Stewart, Holyfield, and Cooper. Study those guys. Oh, man. Yeah, Moore's been in some fights for sure. For sure. True Hayes' fight was Gene Mormick. That was a good bout. Yeah, Jarrett was a beast. Absolutely. Yo, I'll definitely be on tomorrow. I really appreciate you guys always coming in and showing some support. Every time I go live, you guys jump in. You know, you guys end up, when you guys jump in my lives, you guys help pay the bills and all that type of stuff. So I'm always grateful. You guys giving me your guys' time and your attention and just hanging out. So I'm amping up for a really big January. Like I said, I have a very big special guest to start off January on my new segment. And I'm kind of holding off. I'm doing guest lives. I have a lot of people who are doing lives with me. A lot of boxers and stuff I have set up. It's just I just want to start off with a bang to set the tone, and then you know what I mean. And I think it's just a good time for you guys to kind of just hang out, get to know me first, and then when I start bringing on guests, you're not just kind of here for the guests. You guys kind of have a understanding of me, and then it kind of meshes well. You kind of here to see me there and whatnot. What up, D1? What's up, man? I see you in the comments all the time, so I always appreciate you showing love. If Tyson Fury really locked himself away for 3 months and all the weight he gained isn't from not training, he beat the shit out of him this time and he won the first fight too. You thought he won the first fight? I thought it was a close fight. I thought Usyk won the first fight, but I think people forget how dominant Fury was that first half, and it looked like he was on the way of stopping him. So I wouldn't be really mad at your opinion thinking Fury won. I just thought Usyk won because I thought he dominated the second half. Plus he hurt Fury, which was a 10-8 round in my opinion. So, but we'll see. We'll see. You know what I mean? I got Fury winning the rematch, even though my brain's telling me Usyk. You know, I'm 0-3 against Usyk, so it's not new me being wrong against Usyk. I'm terrible at heavyweight picks, so I'm here, champ. Always, man. I appreciate you showing love. I gotta get food, so you came at the tail end, but I'm doing a live tomorrow. So if you guys want to show some love, I got a whole bunch of stuff in the works. So I feel equally it's gonna be Nelson coming up party. I told you before, I feel it's gonna be like Diego was with that guy in Vegas, but better on Nelson's side and with Bomac in his corner, easy. Yeah, I mean, I'm biased. I think Bomac and Red and Esau and all those guys are gonna do a great job. They're in Vegas right now. Ironically, Khan, because you know I moved and stuff, they hit me up to come to the gym. So Khan, I would have actually seen them train for this camp. I got a phone call for Bo to come through, so maybe I'll do an interview with Bo Khan to kind of do some more details and stuff, and get some. Yeah, so I'll probably do an interview with Bo Mac. So whatever you guys need. So no Fury won in my opinion. Usyk only had 4 good rounds, bro, and the knockdown and dramatic part of the fight made people forget about the happening in the beginning. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I thought Usyk edged it. I thought it was a great fight, and that's why I'm picking Fury in the second fight, because it was a tough fight. Like, people acting like Usyk clearly washed Fury. It wasn't the case. He had the heart of a lion to get through that first half and made the second half like what it was. And so Khan says also the undercard is hot with Andy taking on Saucedo, showing Chris how it's done, and also Tito Macau taking on old man Pedraza. So yeah, I think what's going to be interesting, Khan, for you to also to look into is that it's in Vegas. So obviously with that fight happening there, Keyshawn lives out in Vegas. Andy Cruz would be fighting on Vegas card. Keyshawn's with Bomac, right? So Keyshawn and Andy Cruz are going to have a moment at that event. So Andy Cruz is going to be fighting. Keyshawn's going to be in there supporting Steven Nelson, and, you know, he's going to be talking shit. So don't be surprised Keyshawn and Andy Cruz start promoting a potential fight in the future, right? So Greg Robinson, how much does FightHype pay you? Enough for me to do this full time. So that's what I can give you. But, you know, if you think about covering, you want to cover some boxing yourself, hit me up, Greg. You know what I mean? And I'm going to get some food. I'm definitely extending this out. But I'm being a little bit more active on my socials. I usually ignore my Twitter. I never use it. But because I'm becoming more of like a figure and doing this more. So you guys can follow me on Twitter here. I'll start updating my handles and stuff like that. But it's pretty much simple. FightHype Ron G. I'll start retweeting some more, and you know, I'll be more active on here. You know, this was Bud and Blair. So if you guys want to follow, hit me up. You know, this is where you guys can find me too. So awesome. It would be father-son bond. It would be father-son bond, and if you know, you know. You get terrible. I'm gonna end on that. Oh, look, they got what's her name? What a beautiful way to end, right? Ass and tits on the screen. But also check out all the videos if you guys haven't seen. We got a whole bunch of stuff like Steven Edwards, Tino Mikado, got my boy KG. He's doing some interviews. Been on some hiatus for a little bit. Jesus Ramos. A lot of good stuff. So you guys check it out. Other than that, you guys get some food too. Hang out. Go watch some 80s fights. I'm gonna watch some Evander Holyfield tonight and call it a day. So as always, thanks. And I'm gonna play some Street Fighter music to end. And see you guys tomorrow, man. Just keep note. The Fight Companion show will be on tomorrow, and then obviously the reaction and aftermath. So as always, stay locked on FightHype. Appreciate you guys. You guys are the best.